All right, guys. Today we are going to be reacting to conservatives give CNN panel a brutal reality check on Democrats staging a coup against Biden. Jump in.
You can't blame them, right? You cannot blame them.
I agree with you, by the way. They cannot skip over Harris because it would be a monumental admission that she wasn't qualified when they picked her in the first place. They have to go to Harris. They have to go to Harris.
But here's my question.
But let me tell you what you're going to. The idea that you're going to something a little better. I mean, if it's a little, it's by a smidge. I mean, her approval rating right now is about 38%. Not much different than Joe Biden, and she would be tied to the worst and most unpopular parts of the Biden agenda. Let me ask you guys a question. What about Kamala Harris's forays into presidential politics has convinced any of you that this would be anything other than a huge dumpster fire? When she ran for president, it was the literal worst. Her high water mark was...
I covered her in 2020.
It was awful. And now her vice presidency has been awful. What about this?
I covered her in 2020. His ticket.
I feel like I need to take up for the president here.
Yes. Do it, Scott.
Because he won millions upon millions of votes
Yes, he did.
to earn the Democratic nomination. And I just find it delicious that the Party of Democracy is now organizing a coup against the sitting president of the United States.
Let's go. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. You need to have people like this in these panels.
Very telling that is
crazy.
the talking point, though, from Republicans.
Yeah,
they are
crazy.
sticking up for the democratic process,
Of
for
course.
the right of voters to. But they want Joe Biden in this race. The Trump campaign wants Joe Biden in this.
Yeah, despite what every time Carrie and I are on TV, she says, "Well, I heard this was getting 5 points for Joe, but if everything you said was true, he'd be ahead 100-0." I mean, why is Donald Trump winning? Because Joe Biden has a terrible approval rating, A. So the results of the presidency are already, people lost confidence in that. And B, now everybody knows he's not even capable of being president today, let alone for 4 more years. No Project 2025 malarkey is going to change any of that. The contours of the race are set.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about the Democrat Party Civil War, which is my favorite topic, if you guys couldn't tell, because the Democrat Party is on a one-way trip towards destruction. And the reason why is because of Trump derangement. It's kind of funny to me because Democrats have made the argument for years that Republicans need to abandon Trump because Trump will destroy the Republican Party. Well, it turns out that Trump derangement is destroying the Democrat Party, right? Maybe if the Democrat Party wasn't so Trump deranged, they wouldn't be destroying themselves right now, which is essentially what they're doing, okay? Mutually assured destruction is happening in the Democrat Party because Democrats are coming out against Joe Biden one by one and saying that, hey, he needs to step down. And their argument for this is that, well, Biden can't beat Trump, okay? Biden can't beat Trump, according to them. So it went from vote for Joe Biden to save democracy to overthrow Joe Biden, stage a coup against Joe Biden to save democracy, right? You see how that works? Okay.
Yeah, they're the only one. You know what's crazy about these people? These people are the most. They project a lot. They say, "Oh, Trump is a dictator," but they do dictatorship behavior at the same time. This Trump want to put everybody in prison, but here we are, the Democratic Party, literally putting their opponent in prison. Peter Navarro, Steve Bannon. Now they want to put Trump. A lot of the Trump's cabinet. I mean, these people are pure evil. I mean, they have no heart. They only have one agenda, and that agenda is power.
If you vote for whatever puppet that the Democrats eventually place Joe Biden with, then you are a special kind of stupid, right? I'm here to tell you, because quote unquote saving democracy has nothing to do with actually saving democracy, saving your right to vote or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with saving their power, okay? So again, if you guys just replace democracy with Democrat power, it all makes sense, okay? It went from vote for Joe Biden to save Democrat power, right, to now stage a coup against Joe Biden to save Democrat power. Now, there are no contradictions, right? It all really makes sense because it's always been about power and control. And again, this is why Democrats are coming out in full force and calling for Joe Biden to step down while at the same time telling him that he can't beat Trump, which is a self-fulfilling prophecy in the sense that because Democrats continue to say it, they're essentially making it highly unlikely that Joe Biden can beat Trump, or less likely that Joe Biden can beat Trump because they've already let the genie out of the bottle and said that, hey, well, we don't have confidence in Joe Biden, right? We don't have confidence in him. So I'm not entirely sure how you can tell people to vote for Joe Biden if he chooses to stay in the race, okay? But again, Democrats, they're coming out in droves. And again, they are staging this coup against Joe Biden. And Joe Biden has dug in. And as of right now, he's not resigning, at least not yet.
There's no way to go now to say I considered. I mean, it's humiliating. There's no way around it if that's what happens. I mean, Abby, to that point, Democrats have done a really good job of shooting at their own nominee. A horrible reference. Yeah. I shouldn't have used those words, but they have been. That's where the fire's been coming from. How much longer can it go on?
Well, if you're one of the Democrats who feels incredibly vulnerable right now electorally in terms of the fundraising, you want this to end in the next couple of days because the clock is ticking to the convention. That's really the time frame that people who want another nominee, they think that they have to get this done really in the next week in order to have a shot at a process going into the convention. But if you are Joe Biden, you think you actually need to just hold out until the convention when he becomes, actually not even then, they're going to have a roll call vote that would make him the official nominee in just a matter of a few days, actually. And I think Biden sees the timeline very differently. He sees between now and the convention as a relatively short period of time where he can push back on these calls. But for the Democrats who are in these tough races, the Sherrod Browns of the world, they really are putting on the pressure now because really this next week is a crucial window if it's going to be someone else.
Yeah, so you see now you heard that, okay? Most of the focus is on what Democrats in Congress want, okay? Which Democrats want Joe Biden to step down? Which Democrats want Joe Biden to stay, okay? As they stage a coup against the man, right, to get him out of office.
It just, man, imagine a Republican going through something like this. And just imagine for a second. No way they will even hold their current states. No way. I mean, the fact that we have this party of the demons, right? The Democratic Party. It's just baffled. Like, you see how the media is just giving them the talking points, what they need to say, what they don't need to say. At this point, I don't wish bad on people, but a lot of these companies, I hope they just go away because it's better for the country in the long run, folks. Better for the country. These people right here have so much blood in their hands. The rhetoric that a lot of these folks have spewed through the last couple of days has been awful. And still, after the assassination attempt of the former president, these people still went at it. There's something going on there that I don't think it has to do. I don't think it's good. I think there might be the devil controlling these people because for them to be spewing a lot of these lies afterward, and this is CNN, but MSNBC is another story. I mean, that Joe Reid lady, she's crazy as hell. Man, she just really flipping the coin. Hopefully, it looks different, but my God.
Pollster Frank Luntz sat down with a group of 17 voters who were undecided before last month's consequential debate between Biden and Trump. And a lot has happened since, admittedly. Are there any closer to making up their minds about who should lead the Democratic ticket?
Just to step aside, which I think is his choice, then Harris is next in line. I would hate to see that process circumvented.
I think we hear Kamala Harris. I don't know that she can win, though, which is sad.
I wish I could give you a name, but as well, I don't know.
Maybe Gavin Newsom. Maybe.
I think their best chance at that would be Andy Bashir.
Bro, Gavin.
Wow.
Newsom. Wow, this is insane. Wow. I'm like I would like Bill. Man. I'm like right now like BCP. Like, man, this is crazy. Instead, at this point, just take the L, man. Just take the L. Just basically take the L. Why can't you not simply do it for the country? No, they
Joining me now, Frank Luntz. This is not
insane, man.
Very good news if you are the Biden-Harris ticket, that they are not just undecided. They don't want anyone.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible news, right? It's absolutely terrible. Again, this is why an open convention is going to be a disaster, right? This is why, low-key, I'm hoping that they do this, right? I'm hoping they go through this whole process for multiple reasons, right? One, again, it's going to destroy the Democrat Party. Two, it's essentially going to make sure that any candidate that actually does survive and comes out as a nominee, yeah, they are going to have a hard time getting the support of all the salty individuals who are upset that their candidate wasn't chosen, right?
Yeah, and that's another thing they're not taking into consideration, which it give you the, that's clear enough that they really don't care about their voters. It's not what their voters says, it's what they say.
The Kamala coalition, Joe Biden, if he unwillingly steps aside, if they legitimately make Joe Biden step aside without him actually wanting to do so, yeah, it's going to be an absolute disaster. And again, the main reason is because voters aren't even unified in who they want, which is a product of the Democrat Party not having a primary, right? This is the whole point of having a primary. If Democrats would have had a primary fair and square, like they should have, then this would be an issue. This would be an issue at all, because you would know who would be the best candidate to take over, at least considering who the people voted for, right? You would already know. But now you have a bunch of voters, undecided voters, who are saying, well, I don't know if Joe Biden should step down, but if he does step down, they have no clue who they should rally behind, right? No clue whatsoever. And again, the funny part about this is that all of this is happening because of Trump derangement. And Democrats now, they're going to have to double and triple down on it, because now they have to go out and tell people that, well, hey, you might not know who Andy Beshear is, or Josh Shapiro is, or Gretchen Whitmer is, or Gavin Newsom is, but, they're better than Trump. Trust us, right? Trump terrible, Trump bad, okay? Yeah. This is what they're going to do. And I'm hoping that the American people don't fall for it, right? Because, again, as you just saw, clearly the voters have no clue who they want. A lot of them probably don't even know who these candidates are that the Democrats are going to put up. So the trust is not going to be there. But what they're going to do is that they're going to double and triple down on the derangement. What the media is going to do is that they're going to essentially pretend like the next Democrat Party nominee is like the second coming of Christ, right? This is what they're going to pretend like. They're going to have some coronation. They're going to say that he's the guy that can defeat Trump, or woman that can defeat Trump. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to pretend like he's God's gift to earth, right? And they're going to lie about his record. That's what they'll do. But I think in the process of getting to that point, the Democrat Party will be in such shambles that it won't matter, okay? Because they're all undecided, right? They're undecided. They don't know. And when you're
it's very hard. They don't even know who they want. They voted for Biden. That's what they thought. At this point, they don't even know what they want. The message is not even clear. They're not even talking about policies at this point.
Doesn't know when they're not on the same page. And then, again, you're having this contentious convention where you have a lot of people that are going to be upset because you're skipping the person that a lot of people believe should be the next up, which is Kamala Harris. Yeah, that's a one-way trip towards disaster. And at this point, Joe Biden staying in the race is not really about winning, because I don't think that Biden can win. And the reason is because Democrats have damaged him too much. Can you guys imagine in November, Democrats trying to tell voters, hey, vote for Joe Biden, even though we told you guys we don't believe he's qualified, right? We don't believe he should actually be president. So they can't take that back. So Joe Biden standing in a race is not about winning, because I don't think he can win. I legitimately do not believe that Biden can win. I don't think it's possible. It's going to be about mutually assured destruction. Democrats coming out the way that they have against Joe Biden is them hitting the nuke button on the Biden administration. They know that if Biden stays in, that he won't be able to win because of their criticism. And Biden knows that. So Biden staying in is him basically saying, well, hey, mutually assured destruction. If I go down, we're all going down. Right? That's essentially what's going to happen to the party if Biden stays in. And he knows that. He knows that. It's really about getting back at Democrats. Biden saying, I don't care if I let Trump win. You guys are not just going to overthrow me like this. I'm going to stay in the race. It doesn't matter.
Wow.
Which, again, is hilarious, right? It really is.
If I was
so that's what the Democrats are headed to.
Listen, if I was Biden, I would do the same thing. I'm going to be honest. These guys that supposedly put me there, now they want me to drop down. You know what? F it. I'm going to stay in the race even if if the ship is going down, we're all going down. That's how I see it. And Biden did it right. Oh, you think you guys can decide what to do, what not to do? No. We're gonna go all down, and good. And that explains a lot regarding the 2020. And I'm gonna leave it at that. 85 million votes. 85 million votes. Where are they? I don't know.
It really is just bad options all around at this point.
And you're correct that it is Biden and Harris, and they basically want a new beginning. They want a new start. This session was very hostile to Donald Trump and his personal behavior, the things that he says and how he says it. But they were very disappointed in Joe Biden. They were shocked. That debate is going to go down in history as being the most consequential moment since the debate between Kennedy and Nixon in 1960. It really did change minds. They were not hostile to Joe Biden going in, but they became hostile when he came out. And Harris hasn't done anything to prove that she should be the heir apparent.
What do they think of the Trump speech last night? Because obviously they didn't harbor ill will before. Did they find that speech unifying enough to say, well, if this is the ticket, I'll go the other way?
So I always want to get it right, and I want to acknowledge I got it wrong last night, that I didn't realize how hostile they were to how long Trump went, to the language that he used. His teleprompter speech, wonderful. What he actually delivered, all the impromptu, was not so positive.
I want to hear what they told you. Let's listen to this.
Show of hands, how many of you would give Donald Trump's speech an A? 1.
Okay.
How many would give him a B? 1, 2, 3. How many of you give him a C? And
that's where their mind is. That's where their mind is. By right now, that's where their mind is. That's it.
That's where you get everyone. Who would give him a D? 1, 2, 3 of you, 4 of you. And who would give him an F? So nobody flunks him.
Did that surprise you?
It surprised me because that's not what I thought. That's not what I saw. Because I was in the convention hall. And we have to be very careful who we surround ourselves with to give us an accurate impression. The core of what he said, bring the country together, focus on the future, get things done, the core is perfect. But the added stuff, the Trump stuff, the anger and the name calling simply doesn't sit well with them. And these are the people that Trump and Biden need to win.
Yeah. You know, I do think that there is a decent argument to be made that whoever's in Trump's corner when it comes to his speeches needs to be like, yo, you kind of got to reel in the length, right? Especially when you're doing it on the national stage. Okay, at the rallies, you know, say whatever you want, right? Do whatever you want, okay? Just be Trump. But when you're talking about major speeches, okay, that is being aired by networks, you know, again, you talk about at the RNC or whatever, you got to reel it in. You got to be more concise and direct to the point, and more importantly, focused, okay? Showing that you're focused.
No, I disagree with him. Because that means that you're taking what is very powerful from Trump, which is being Trump. Right? Well, you're taking away what we love about Trump, which is something sometimes out of the cuff. You know, all these things that make Trump who he is. These voters, 8 years, almost 10 years, and they still trying to figure out whether Trump is good or not. And they still, you're not gonna win them over. You're not gonna win them over at this point, and you're still worrying about how he's saying things out of the cuff. And man, you should not, because that means that. Let me explain. That means that you have to just take a part of Trump, take it away, and just be in the mercy of these folks that they're still figuring out if Trump is a good candidate or not. No, man. At this point, Trump should not change anything of his behavior. You're not gonna win them over. And I understand how black conservative perspective is coming from, because he want to win. I understand. However, be in the mercy of these individuals that are still lefty, they're in the middle, and they still haven't decided whether or not Trump is a good candidate, then just let them go. Because that means if you're in the mercy of these people, that means you cannot talk about the border, you cannot talk about deportation, you cannot talk about a lot of these things because you want to please that side. No, at this point, if you're not voting for Trump, man, we don't need your vote. You can save it. Go vote for Biden. Be you the one to have a unclear conscience
on solving the problems. And if you stick with that, again, this is a problem that's easily fixable, right? I'm not worried about people and their reaction to Trump's speech because it's not that big of a deal. Again, that's a problem that's easily fixable. Trump's just going to have some discipline and really understand that, listen, the constructive criticism is really about winning, okay? Again, at the rallies, do whatever you want to do, say what you want to say. But I think when he gives these nationally televised speeches, I think he needs to just stick to the script, keep it concise, direct to the point. You know, in 2024, people's attention spans are not that long, right? So when you start talking for an hour and 30, to 2 hours, a lot of people are going to tune it out. Just stick to the script with these national speeches, and I think he can clean that up very easily. I'm telling you, if he start talking about immigration, folks, look 2016 and look at 2024. Trump in 2016, he was bombastic, and I loved it. He already met a lot of people in the middle. He just lost a lot of that Trump energy. At this point, Trump should not change a lot of things, because if he keeps changing things, we're just basically playing in their ball field, and we should not be doing that. We should just keep things as it is. He already have a strong base. He have a 49 support rate as a percentage. Just keep it strong and make sure that your base goes to vote. Those people that are still thinking about whether or not they want to vote for him, just let them be. Let them be, because they're not gonna even change their mind, folks. They're not gonna change their mind. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'd love to hear you guys' opinion. I'll see you in the next one.